You're watching Varvel Insider. Welcome to another how-to. This time we're going to talk about tracking shots, and specifically using the slider.
The tracking shot has an assortment of different names: the dolly shot, the slider shot, ranging from the cinematic world where you have the coveted Fisher dolly, the doorway dolly. Then you can also have the slider in the DSLR world. You can even make your own dolly. Think about that for a second. Take some PVC piping, get a nice board with some skateboard wheels, and you've got a dolly.
Now, when Brett and I were starting out as just normal videographers with hardly any gear and no budget, we had to start somewhere. And when it came to tracking shots, we had a couple solutions. Use the camera strap, and seriously, it gives you a nice tracking motion. And I know that is like guerrilla style there, but it will definitely help. If this is not an option for you, finding something to set your camera on, like a tissue box or a movie case or something that will slide well on a hard surface, you know, rotating around something, whatever you want to do, you have that option available to you. What we're showing you are some sliders, and these are from the company called Glidetrack, and we favor these because at the time they were in our budget.
The main difference between our smaller Glidetrack and our larger one is simply the way that the platform is mounted to the bars and the way that they move. With the smaller one, it's literally a slider in that it literally slides across the bars themselves. There's no ball bearings or anything. Whereas this one, little rolling wheels that move up against the bar itself.
How's this? Am I done?
No, you're not done. Acquiring a dolly shot is not as simple as just putting the camera on the dolly and sliding it back and forth. Foreground is everything. Without foreground, you don't necessarily give the viewer a sense of awareness or a sense of context. And so for this shot, I'm going to be pushing past this ottoman onto our other camera on the other Glidetrack. And it will simply, you can see what the ottoman itself does. I'll do one shot with it in the shot, and then one without any foreground. So there's one. And then here's two. Not as impressive of a shot, not as dramatic, and simply just not very interesting. So Drew, show me what we got going on right now.
Okay, so I am just doing this quick little shot of this Bible here, and what I'm doing is I'm not really using the full length of the track. I have a specific end point, and that's when the words Holy Bible become in focus. What I'm doing is I'm just gently pushing the slider until right about there when those words become visible and readable. And that's really all that I had to do. It's just a gentle move that does a whole lot, and I didn't have to move the track very far.
Panning and tilting, adding that to the movement of your dolly will actually create a whole lot more emotion to the shot. It'll make it more interesting to look at. So like, here's an example of just pushing the dolly past these two lenses so that they go in and out of the frame. I'm just going to slide so they're in the corner. I'm just going to push past them. Fine shot can be used in a variety of different ways, but watch what happens when I have a fluid head, which fluid head means you can easily turn and tilt your camera without it really sticking or anything like that. So here I'm going to pan the camera when these lenses come in focus. Like that one the best right there. Just that subtle pushing, and you can see how long this track is. Just as Drew was talking about, I used a very, very small portion of this track.
So what I have here, if you want to get a wide shot of this, is I have set up my tripod and slider to almost mimic a jib. Now, I didn't have to go out and buy a jib for this. I just turned this slider into one, and once again, I'm just going to achieve some motion with the slider going vertically, or diagonally, I guess, to get something a little more interesting. So I have the shot set up, and if I want to, say, tilt up to somebody's face that's standing right here, like I'm going to use Brett as an example, I can do that. Just like that. Now, obviously, going up is a little more difficult but using gravity, getting much smoother of a shot right there.
If you want to do something that's extremely challenging and a little bit harder to do, get a macro lens like the one that I've got, which is the Canon 100mm macro, put it on the slider. What I've done is I've taken my ring off and I put it down on the ground. Now with this macro lens, I can get incredible detail, but just shooting this shot as a still shot, it just frankly is not very interesting looking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my fixed point. I got it in focus. It took me a little bit of time because it's very, very tack sharp. And I'm gonna move the camera the opposite direction from what I want it to end up in. And then in post, I'll reverse the shot. So here's what it would look like. Give it some pause, some time, and then slowly drift out of the shot. And that's it. Now, in post, you reverse that shot so that it comes into focus and comes to a stop. If you feel like you learned something and you like what you're seeing, please like, share, and subscribe.
And if there's a topic that we're not covering, please let us know in the comment section below.
You really need to subscribe now, so press that button.
All you gotta do is click that button.
We're still waiting on you. Push it.
We will not stop doing this until you click subscribe.
You need to push the button right now.